Hello and welcome back to another episode of Crown Wars: The Black Prince. My name is Syken. This is the blind playthrough on the very hardest difficulty, and we are in a skirmish. We got a new squad. I mentioned that I wanted to change it up a bit, and this is the yellow team, which hopefully is going to be successful. Got a couple of healing mats with me. Other than that, the idea of this team is going to be to have an ultra strong front line. We're going to have a halberd, we're going to have a two-handed sword, we're going to have a hammer, and then we're going to have a one-hand axe, so all of the strong, heavy-hitting weapons in melee. Let's go.
Forward!
All right, skirmish time, and that means we need to simply eliminate all enemies. We're starting with siege equipment, which is a joy to my eyes. Very good. And there's even more siege equipment over here. Fantastic, but I think we're going to focus on this part. I'm a bit skeptical, sorry, that this ballista really will be able to hit down there, but the cannon very much will, and that's all we're asking for. There moves up.
At your command.
Sword moves up, hammer moves up, got all of the heavy hitters in the front line. I like that. Alright, little interruption done. So we are moving in with another halberd. Damn, that's going to be a strong team, at least for the melee damage that we're going to see. Wait, I've just realized that there is a second team. Ooh. Yeah, we don't want to run into those. Tightly packed here.
Ready when you are.
Okay, let's go. Let's hope they're just standing there and we're not triggering, because I don't want to fight these guys here. Man, this whole thing is sketchy. Oh, this on the other hand is so good. Let's go. Heavy damage for them. Alright. Already moved, so that's a bit unfortunate. I think that's a bit unfortunate, but we will deal with that at the end. For now, just maximize the collateral damage. There you go. And we're moving away because I really don't want to pull that other path. Not immediately though.
At your command.
Move up. Guaranteed crit into killing him.
Yes.
And this is where the sword shines, right? So triple damage, look at that.
Guides my hand.
Okay, well, it only shines if we're actually hitting. Killed one. Move into here.
I'll be quick.
Double hit. Lovely.
Don't expect mercy.
This guy is down to 4 hit points. Bear moves up. Takes a good bite out of this ambusher.
At your command.
Moving slightly back. I don't have a ranged attack or
On my
anything.
way.
Yes.
And I'll do something maybe a bit controversial. Can I get... Nah, I can't. No, maybe I'm not doing something controversial. Perfect shot, also not working. Almost dead.
I won't disappoint you. Very well.
We're just reducing the number of opponents here. Of course, dodged. You're kidding me, right? Let's hope that these guys are not adding. I really don't need more stress here. Bear is taking a pretty sizable beating. Oh wow, Bear is taking a massive beating actually.
At your command.
Look what they've done to Bear. That's not cool. Immediately counter healing. Listen, we're going to here. I just don't want to deal with that ambusher anymore. He deals a lot of damage. Hit every skill.
Catch this.
Bear is moving in. His Beastmaster friend with him, and let's see how strong the X as a one-handed weapon is. Phenomenal damage, love it. Bear is blinded, so doesn't really hit that well. Occasionally hits, but that's more than enough. Okay, fantastic. Well, listen.
Yes.
No way. You have not just done
Your service.
Okay,
Yes?
it's official.
Consider it done.
I have a feud with this guy. Stupid repos tank.
Yes.
Good. We're healing ourselves. Again, don't want to
I
trigger.
won't disappoint you.
So we're standing here for now.
On my way. I'll hold.
Yes.
Let's hide as well as we can and hope that these guys are going to pass by. Wow, there's the next group over here.
Ready to go?
Okay. Good. This is going to be a bit of a back and forth. I need... Oh, this would be perfect. Let's move over there. We're repositioning. All right. Another short interruption. We repositioned the team just for me to realize that the map ends exactly here, so you can't get behind the cannon, which is ridiculous. But yeah, those are the little tricks that the game isn't telling you about. I nevertheless got a decent reposition in. And we are getting these guys with their pants down. Okay, looks about right. So, triple poison. And since they are heavily armored, another triple poison. Here you can see you can theoretically
Ready to
reach the front, but nothing else. Which is a shame, if you ask me. Let's start with nailing this guy to the ground. Of course, he resists rooted. Okay, in the meantime, I would be very much up for 2 double hits, which we're getting in with the sword.
Guides my hand.
That's 1. And that's 2. You can see we're dealing damage, but the high amount of armor is still an issue. We're optimizing our damage. This guy in the back is dead. Yeah, I still do the double strike because simply it triggers twice and that's so much damage. Almost got the shield bearer down.
At your service.
I like that.
At your command.
At your service. Ready when you are.
Moving over. He is burning and that would kill him. Now next up, let's try to get this halberdier. We're taking the Beastmaster for that.
hunt is on.
Immediate
Die.
crit into actually killing him.
Ready when you are.
Could have positioned myself over here maybe, and that way we would have gotten teamwork on that second duelist. I will say duelist is dangerous, but so is that sword man. And
I won't fail.
I would like to get into a position where the swordman cannot attack. Is that taunting? He resisted prone. Try that again. Taunt him. Try twice. Didn't work. Critical hit into blinded at least, which is a start.
At your command. At your command.
We're staying on the other end with the bear. Without teamwork, there's no chance for us to red him or taunt him. But if he moves,
Yes.
he is going to be in trouble. And we're going to cover these three spots, meaning if he moves around and tries to flank, we can hit, and if he moves in this direction, we can hit as well. Not the best situation to be in, but we killed three, leaving two of them still standing. Oh, clever movement. They always can take a 5-foot step without provoking, which, if you ask me, is a bit annoying. Heal up into full damage.
I'm ready.
One. Two. This guy here is a dodge expert,
That hit the
a
mark.
riposte expert, but riposte doesn't work on ranged attacks, so we're peppering him with exactly that. And then
Understood.
we're attacking from behind. There we go. Problem solved. Bear moves up.
Yes. Ready to go.
We're using our vet ability to heal the bear. Move over here.
That's better.
And we're just
At your command.
filling up fully.
Very well.
Next engagement will be over there, and I'm pretty sure we do have more groups. So let's get moving. Is the name of the game.
Yes. On my way. Yes. No problem.
This is a bit of a bait, and I fell for it. Although I must say that the repositioning was okay. We got a good deal of good damage out of it.
On the move.
This here will be more interesting because we do have two siege weapons
Ready
available.
when you are. Very well.
I'm ready.
We used all of our
Ready to go.
poison bombs, so our alchemist has the perfect opportunity here to use these devices. simply because that will increase the DPS substantially. Unfortunately, you can't turn this one around unless they are coming up. These two will not be very useful. But we got two others, and that's all we need. Good. Next turn, we're going to go into position, and then it's showtime. Go time, showtime, as they say.
Yes.
Yes. At your command. Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
At your command.
Yes.
Beastmaster moves up. Let's just not get spotted out, and we're good. This is going to be the more important cannon because it deals just so much damage.
At your command.
All right, it's fair to say everybody is ready.
Ready to go? I'll keep watch.
Yes. I'll cover this area.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Figured that would happen. So how about a smooth triple hit? Love it. Well, hello there, gentlemen. Yeah, the burning soil is a problem, eh? I imagine it is.
I'm ready.
Good. Bleeding, piercing, and rooted. Not happening. Not yet. However, impaling bolt. Roots him down. Nice.
Deep breath.
Despair, but not poison. Not a bit unfortunate. You know, this position wasn't very clever. You position at the one spot where you immediately could get picked up.
Ready when you are. At your service.
At your service. Understood.
Yes.
Listen. There we go. That was helpful.
Yes.
First of all, we need to kill this guy here because he's still
Very well.
theoretically providing attacks of opportunity. Good.
Yes.
That was important because
Yes?
Yes.
I want to get in and hit both of them. Is this here a possibility?
At your command.
Maybe not. I do have an idea. The guy in front definitely cannot be allowed to make an attack of opportunity. And if he's prone, he cannot do that. Haunted equally.
At your service.
There we go. That solves the problem. Oh. Fabulous damage. Love it. Love to see it. And we're coming in with our sword.
Out of my way.
1, 2, and
At your command.
we dislocated this guy's kneecap. Very good engagement. Listen, the two-hand weapons are dominant. I will say that for the sheer fact that we were able to engage with
Consider it
a
done.
low-level team
Yes.
and create so much better results than what we had with the gray team, I must conclude for now that the two-hand weapons just deal a lot more damage to the, and it's pretty clear, right? Because if you do have a front line and you come with daggers, and they don't always crit, you don't have the high-level skills to bypass armor, then it becomes a problem. And there's really no great way around that much hit points unless you're hitting multiple targets. So last engagement was a great example. The headfirst did 4 attacks instead of 2, and 4 attacks with quite a bit of damage actually. The great sword did 4 attacks as well by hitting twice 2 people. So that really adds up over time. That really adds up over time. Let's just see. I still want to use the crossbow. Superior crossbow needs to be researched first. Great sword will be upgraded. Flawless sword, yes, because we have a group that works with exactly that. What does a flawless shield offer? Willpower, a little bit of power actually, which isn't too bad, but it's not really a massive upgrade. On the dagger team, we do have these offense that don't really deal a lot of damage. They are dirks. So currently we need to upgrade daggers, and we also need to upgrade. You can see daggers are actually becoming a little bit better. So maybe it is also an unfair statement because we haven't had fully upgraded daggers, and also the dirks would need to be fully upgraded. Currently 5 to 9, and on the full spectrum it's 8 to 12 with quite a bit of critical hits. So if you go with a fully upgraded dirk in the offense, that provides a massive boost to crit damage, which in return you're looking for with daggers, right? So we got another skirmish. It's a hard one. I want to use the Misfits because that's their last gig before they are level 7 as well. Might as well give them a good intro. And we had these super good tonics here, reinvigorating incense. They are great. I will say we might need more DPS. Pitch grenade, not necessarily. Might go with that Berserker tonic because I can put it onto someone else. I want to try that out for a long period of time. Oftentimes it's just not worth using your action for it because the little bit of DPS improvement that you get is kind of compensated by you wasting a turn. I think it's a pretty decent setup. We still do have a couple of storyline missions, and I have to wonder, should we maybe go for those as well? Here's the thing, I would like to do that, and we're using, as always, the Prime team for it. Let's check something first, because I wanted to exchange Divat for in the Prime team and put him into the second team. I really don't like Cerberus that much. It's a great dog, don't get me wrong, but dogs are inferior to bears in my perspective. This one here, Zero, has an interesting skill set. Doesn't have the self-heal, which I would likely pick, but Blinding Pack can be helpful in situations where you engaged as a melee hunter and then you just want to use a ranged skill. The reason why I would want to pick him is because of Crowstorm, which I think is the better ability compared to Feral Rage. Given it a long, hard thought process, we alternatively would have Sukuger, who does have kind of the Feral Rage attack that heals you and deals piercing damage, which is great, don't get me wrong. I think that would be really a sustain-based Beastmaster. Crowstorm, however, can be a game changer, and you can use it more than once in a particular mission. So what I would want to do is, I totally love Diva to death, and you're going to be part of the second team, no worries. So he just basically gives up the offhand weapon. This thing here is nasty, I'm telling you. Those extra attacks, very, very, very good. So since you're now part of the main team, we want the weapon to be bloodied. Love it. Okay. So we got that. Now off we go to the storyline mission. Randon, Zero, Hawkbite, Hayward, Edgar Allan Poe, and Zirkin. So the one thing that I will say, very happy with all of the setup here, the healing and so on, that's great. Changed for Bear, which I think will be the right call. The one thing that I'm not so happy with, to be entirely honest, is the ceremonial mace. I put it onto flawless level, and my problem with the mace is it deals too little damage for what it does. So hear me out. I did quite a bit of background research. So the normal hammer deals 10 to 14, which results in 12 to 17 points of damage. So average 15 points of damage on the normal attack. So 15 points normal damage, as opposed to 8 to 10, and not more than that. So we're looking at an average of 11 points of damage. However, this here has a one-hit effect, which will give all of the allies around you after the first hit inspired, which basically is 10% damage buff. So that's nice. But that means on average we're dealing 12 points of damage instead of 15. Now, it has Violent Sweep, which is 3 cells in front of you with Taunted. That is a fantastic ability. We got Head Trauma, which is also a great ability. Inflict Stunned. Stunned, in my perspective, the potentially strongest ability in the entire game. And then we got 2 points of armor reduction and Prone, which is great because this here is really just breaking down the armor super good. So it is a very strong armor removal and CC weapon, which generally speaking is fine. If we compare it to the hammer, this is 15 base damage, okay? It has an on-hit effect, which partial cover, that's irrelevant. And so it only has 2 attacks. It doesn't have the cone attack, but I do have the cone attack from my skill tree. So in a sense, unless you're hitting multiple targets, this hammer here is dealing better single target damage. And it does have the ability to also inflict stun, but with the condition only when there is no armor on the target. So elsewise it just inflicts prone. However, it does have obliterate, and obliterate also removes 2 armor points. And if there is no armor on the target, which we had a couple, it deals 24 to 34 points of damage to 29, and damage is doubled. So we're looking at around 60 points of damage, which is massive. So my general problem with this weapon here is, yes, you deal more damage with inspiration, but it kind of requires you to go in first with Hoplite, and then you will need to hit multiple targets, which currently we can't because weapon skill is not high enough. And it is really just a weapon that deals that deals better with armor than other weapons, and that has a higher chance to stun. So the question that we will need to answer is, are we willing to reduce the single target damage for later more AoE damage and a slight damage buff and more armor penetration? We're going to find that out. I don't have an answer yet. Actually, this weapon here deals on average 4 points of damage less, but has a bit more utility. So we're going to figure out how that is going. Then we would need to upgrade our arrows here one more time. But yeah, that can wait. And the rest here is actually pretty much okay. I will say Valiant and Resilient, grants Inspired and Haste to a companion. That is actually a really neat buff. I'm wondering whether or not I will test out also the Stimulant, Valiant and Resilient. That would be very much less damage. I think the Berserker Tonic might be better. Yeah, let me try out the Berserker Tonic and see if that makes a lot of difference. Then we are maybe taking a second one. Yeah, so those were the thoughts regarding our teams. Got the great sword. No action near us, and I don't want to travel that long. How long does that take here? 8 days, yeah, too long. We're just going to wait until something spawns. Defend position. That's a difficult one. specifically if we don't have a really good team. But the yellow team did very well, so I wonder, maybe I'll just take these guys for another spin. We need a lot of healing on those defense missions, and I mean, we're good. So Ender leads his companions into another adventure. And that's pretty much the end of today's episode. Sorry for still being a bit under the weather. I'll do this mission off screen and then we're joining back once we do have the storyline mission. Take care, have a good one, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.